Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Chris Davis, and today we are going to do a review of a Disney Plus series, Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. Now, this series had some short episodes, but they were really good. The story was amazing. It really focuses on the journey of two Jedi, Ahsoka Tano and Mount Dooku. So right now I'm gonna focus on Sokotano and then I'm gonna go to Count Dooku. Alright, so in Tales of the Jedi, first episode shows us a baby Ahsoka with her Draguda tribe. She's out hunting with her mother, and then she gets kidnapped by this saber-toothed tiger looking alien. But it doesn't eat her because she ha- sh she's basically a Jedi or has the potential to be a Jedi. So she's able to use the Force to communicate with the creature and get the creature to take her back to her Targuda village. And then the elder tells her mother that she's a Jedi. And then, like, the next story we get with Ahsoka is she's in the Jedi Temple. She does this test deflecting blaster fire from some droids. Everyone else, including Obi-Wan, Yoda, thinks she did like a great job, but Anakin still thinks that that test isn't good enough, and he explains his reasons, saying that every Jedi initiate does this test. Droids are predictable. He wants to give her an even more difficult test. And that test is a squadron of clone troopers firing at her all at once. Their weapons are set to stun, but he wants her to deflect their blaster fire because they're smarter than any droid, and he's trying to prepare her for the up and coming Clone Wars. Next story like we get is, well, before I move any further, that training that she did with Anakin, that helps her in Order 66. Whenever the clone troopers are shooting at her, she's able to deflect all that blaster fire. That's how she was able to do that in the Clone Wars, the final season. So, to the next story, like Order 66 has happened. She's at Padme's funeral, and Senator Organa spots Ahsoka at the funeral, gives her a communication device, and tells her to let her know if she ever needs anything. Like weeks and months later, Ahsoka is at this village on this planet. She's going by the name of Ashla, and she's just really living a normal life. The village is very peaceful and quiet. Everyone's pulling their weight, their fair share, but a guy overstacks some hay, and it's too heavy for the droid machine to pull, and it collapses and it nearly falls on this woman. But Ahsoka saves her using her force powers, and the woman notices and tells Ahsoka later on, thank you and stuff. But that person doesn't know that she was being watched by the guy who overstacked the hay. And he goes on and tells the Empire that a Jedi is here so he can get a reward. But little does he know that when the Empire shows up, a I can't think of their name right now. Um, Inquisitor, yeah, an Inquisitor. Oh, I don't can't think why I couldn't think of it for the life of me. Inquisitor. Okay, so Inquisitor shows up. He tries to fight Ahsoka, but Ahsoka doesn't even have a lightsaber, and she's able to take him down like real easily. She even turned off his lightsaber, like she did in Star Wars Rebels to those other Inquisitors. So she turned off that guy's lightsaber and she beat him up, and that was awesome. So that really is where Ahsoka's story leaves. ends off, she presses the communication button. She uses the communication device that Senator Organa, excuse me, gave her, and she helps the surviving villagers, including the guy who ratted her out to the Empire, start a new life. Excuse me. Okay, so that's where Ahsoka's story leaves or ends. Now Count Dooku. Count Dooku to me is my favorite because we get to see him before he turns to the dark side. And uh, with Count Dooku, it's not just some sudden change. It's something over time that causes him to become a dark Jedi or a Sith Lord. So we first see Count Dooku in the first episode in Tales of the Jedi. He's with his Padawan, Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn is his Padawan, and they are going to this planet to save a senator's son. And they are going to go rescue him. But uh, when they get to the planet, they see that the planet, nothing but like poor people, and everything is dilapidated. Um, it's really bad. The people there are suffering and everything. And basically, they figure out that these people are holding this senator's son ransom because he's not taking care of his people. He's not representing them in the Senate like he's supposed to. He's just mistreating them and everything. And this is one of the things that causes um, Count Dooku uh, to go to the dark side to become a Sith Lord. That the senators aren't really representing their people like they're supposed to. They're exploiting them, and there's this notion that the Jedi are just tools of the Senate. They're just gonna do what the Senate wants, even though like the Senate isn't doing what they're supposed to do, and the Jedi aren't supposed to be tools for the Senate. They're supposed to be peacekeepers, helping people who are in need. And uh, there is a standoff between Count Dooku and the senator and his men, and he opens fires on Count Dooku and the other um, civilians who were on his side. And Count Dooku's just deflecting all their blaster bolts. And Count Dooku's getting ready to end the senator, but then Qui-Gon doesn't want that. He lets the son out, and and the son goes to his father and says, "Stop this! You're hurting these people. Like I can't blame them for capturing me. Look at what's going on here." Senator lives, and then he uses his men to start making life better. So that's one of the things that really gets Count Dooku to thinking that the Jedi really need to do better, really need to do more. Second story we get with Count Dooku, he's with Mace Windu and stuff, and a Jedi Master, or a Jedi, has died on this planet, and they are specifically told to just retrieve the body and come back. But Count Dooku doesn't want to do that. He wants to figure out why she was killed, which is reasonable. Like, how did she die? So, to make a long story short, he figures out that the people that the Jedi was with, they turned on her and like they shot her. And the reason why they did is because again, another crooked senator was letting corporations exploit his planet, and like the people didn't like that, so they killed the Jedi Master because they believed the Jedi Master was on the senator's side, and they were coercing their senator in the next Senate session to end the deal and just represent his people like he was supposed to. However, Count Dooku and Mace Windu figured out the truth, and the senator, he got shot by the people who were coercing him, and he died. Now they were able to take out those guys and arrest them, but Count Dooku, even though he didn't agree with how those guys went about it, he understood that he understood why they did what they did. He understood that, hey, you do have a right to defend your planet and stuff from being exploited. And the Jedi Council, they weren't too happy of a senator dying, so Mace Windu got promoted to the Jedi Council while Count Dooku was held back because he didn't follow directions and stuff. And I believe that that's just symbolic of the issues with the Jedi, that the Jedi follow the Senate, they follow their dogmatic rules instead of the Force itself. Um, just trying to strictly stick to the rules instead of knowing, hey, there are exceptions and stuff like that. Third story with Count Dooku, really sad story. Master Yaddle and Phantom Menace. It's taking place right after the Phantom Menace. Qui-Gon Jinn just passed away, and Master Yaddle, who's the same species as Yoda, noticed something's wrong with Count Dooku. Count Dooku says like he's fine and stuff, and he sneaks off to meet Sidious, and Yaddle follows him. And he and Count Dooku and Sidious are having some dialogue, saying Count Dooku saying, "Hey, Qui Gon Jinn didn't have to die," and Emperor and Palpatine's like, "Just to be quiet. Okay, we both lost apprentices. You lost Qui Gon Jinn. I lost Darth Maul. Okay, move on." And then Yaddle appears, and Palpatine thinks Count Dooku has betrayed him, but Count Dooku's like, "No, I have not." And then Palpatine's like, "Okay, didn't you come to me saying that the Jedi do nothing more but serve the Senate, who's corrupt and don't represent the people like they're supposed to? Okay, like kill her then." And then they start fighting, and the fight's really good, but um, Yaddle tries to reach out to Count Dooku, saying that he's right about the Jedi, and that's why she stepped down from the council. But how he's going about it to fix the problem is all wrong. And Count Dooku doesn't listen, kills Yaddle, and that's where like the story ends. He pledges his allegiance to Palpatine. He's a Sith Lord. So I really enjoyed Tales of the Jedi. I really enjoyed the stories um, that they all shared. Like my really favorite part is Count Dooku because we saw a side of him that we never saw. We never saw him be a good Jedi and stuff. We only heard about it, but it was good to see his turn, and it just wasn't a sudden shift. It was something over time that caused him to change. So that's all we have for today. If you liked what I had to share, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with all your friends. Let me know if you've seen Tales of the Jedi on Disney Plus and what was like your favorite episode overall. All right, guys, thank you all for watching. Have a great day.